Hey there, I've been playing with Obsidian and the LLM-wiki style of integration, which is kind of nice. Um, I'm in Obsidian and I've put in this plugin which is called Obsidian Claw, and Obsidian Claw connects to an AI agent. So my Hermes agent, he's here. I've turned on the API server in Hermes so that then this Obsidian Claw plugin can talk to it. And this means when I chat, then the agent is going to respond. The agent is also connected to the keep memory system, which means that our conversations get tracked and indexed. And the keep memory system reflects its contents into Obsidian. So the view that we get in Obsidian is the view over the memory. And so the memory contains a now document, which is what we're talking about. And this is a little summary from the agent. And then it also contains the contents of our conversation. And sometimes it's a little laggy as to when this is going to show up. But it should be here. Come on. There we are. What we see here is the user saying, talk about museums in Mexico City. And then the agent responding, saying, here are 3 strong museums, and if you want, I can give you more information. And this has also had the URLs parsed out of it. So I don't know anything more about this one yet. Let's go back to the agent and say, tell me more about this one. This one, well, the plugin knows which page in Obsidian that I'm looking at, so it can very easily talk about this, and it'll go find hopefully a bunch more information about it. So inside Obsidian then, this is a view over the memory of the conversations, but the conversations are the things that we have been talking about. And so this conversation is linked to the things that are in it, and the conversation is captured directly into the memory system. The conversation has history, and where you see V1 here, this means the earlier message in the history. We track all of the history of the conversations as little fragments of notes. We're not grabbing enormous amounts of data from the web and putting it into memory. We're capturing the conversation and as much as we want about the things that we're talking about. So if I'm going to go visit Mexico City, it'll tell me a little bit more about this one. I also have a travel policy fictitious document here, and I'm going to want to ask my agent about that when it comes to it. Hopefully it'll tell me a little bit more about this one here. Oh, this has already turned into something a little more. So here, this is our conversation. Go back into these links. This is the new page about the museum. It was automatically fetched and summarized for me, and then the links that come from here go out to different places. So my graph is growing as I explore it, and it tells me how much the admission fee is, and etc., etc. So this is a summary in the memory. Because it's in the memory, it's indexed. I can search. I'll find how much does it cost. It'll go tell me. It doesn't have to look it up on the web anymore. So, can this work with the travel policy? And see what it says there. I can interrupt this one. And so, again, I pointed at something interesting, and it'll grab a URL and tell the memory system that we're interested in this URL. The memory system will go find this PDF and summarize it and extract the links from it, and all of that becomes part of the subjects that we're talking about. So in this way, we build up our graph. We build up a graph of all of the things that we are talking about during our conversations. This can also include the artifacts of things that the agent is working on and the things that we're creating. To show you a little example of that, I have the plugin source code. This is this little plugin here that sits into Obsidian and lets me talk to the agent. I've edited it by adding a new background picture because it's talking to Hermes. But I can drop this directly into the keep memory system, and I can say put recursive the current directory, and I can even say watch this directory so that if I have any file changes, if I make changes in here, then the changes will immediately be reflected in the memory system, and then because they're in the memory system, then we get this view over them in Obsidian as a graph. So it's found some things about the museum, and here drops in all of the information from the repositories. This has actually split the repository into a few different places. So this is a commit, and the commit touched all of these things. It touched the tools, the user, etc., etc. Here's a that's the same commit that we just looked at. Here's a smaller commit that touches two different things, but it's actually by this email address, and then this email address is linked to all of the commits. So when we drop something like a Git repo into the memory system, it doesn't just capture the content of the repo, it captures who did what when, because it's Git, and all of that becomes searchable because it's indexed in the memory system. So let's go down here and say, when did SVG art get added? And I'm not talking about the museum. It thinks I'm probably talking about the museum, but it's going to search for SVG art, and it will find in the Git repo, because that came into memory. Now I don't really need this history from the repo. I can say just look in keep. It doesn't have to look into the repo source on disk. It can just search in the memory and find all the detail that it needs from the commit summaries in there as well. So we have a memory system that my agent learns everything that I'm working with, not just the conversations that I'm having. It learns the artifacts that we're working on. And that is Hermes agent with Obsidian, with the keep memory system. And it's a whole lot of fun. I'll post a blog post with a little bit more detail of how this all works, and have fun.